Well, welcome to Fractions Part 9. Now we've worked with what is a fraction, how to rename fractions in their lower name, how to raise them to a higher name, the different types of fractions we've studied, mixed numbers, improper fractions, how to change an improper fraction to a mixed number, how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. And then we have also learned addition and subtraction of fractions. Well, now we're going to be multiplication of fractions and mixed numbers. And multiplication and division of fractions and mixed numbers is probably the easiest part of the entire fraction process. So let's take a look at some problems. Okay, well, let's put up some fractions. 1/2 times 1/3. Now, if we were adding fractions, we know that we could not add these two because the denominators are different. But in multiplication, it doesn't matter if the denominators are different or the same. All you do in multiplication of fractions is you multiply the two numbers in the numerator, the two top numbers, and you multiply these two numbers. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. So if I multiply 1/2 times 1/3, the answer is 1/6. Then the only other thing I have to do is I have to say, well, okay, this is a proper fraction, so I don't have to change it, and it is in its lowest name, so the problem is done. Very simple. By the way, let me show you graphically why this is so. First of all, when this is a multiplication sign, you can substitute the word of for the multiplication sign, because of in mathematics means multiplication. So this is 1/2 of 1/3 is equal to 1/6. Let me show you why here. I know this is a little weird. I don't mean to mess things up for you. Okay, each of these is 1/3. There's 3 pieces in the whole. This is 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And this dotted line will represent 1/2 of 1/3. So this piece right here is 1/2 of, this is 1/3 right here, and this is 1/2 of it. So the problem is saying 1/2 of 1/3 is 1/6. Well, this is 1/6 because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1/2 of 1/3, and this would be 1/3 of the rectangle. 1/2 of that is 1/6. And that's what multiplication of fractions is about. Let's take a look at another problem. Let's multiply 3/7 times, or of, 1/3. Well, again, all we do is multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Well, this is a proper fraction, so we don't have to change it, but it's not in its lowest name. It's not in its lowest name because 3 can go into 3 one time, and 3 can go into 21 7 times. So 3/7 times 1/3 is equal to 3/21, and then we have to reduce it to its lowest name, 1/7. And that's all there is to multiplying fractions. I'm going to put a couple of problems up and let you work them, and then we'll go over them. Okay, here are 2 problems for you. 2/5 times 3/4, that's the first one, and 1/6 times 5/7 is the second. So put the DVD on pause, and in your notebook work those problems, and then turn the DVD back on and we'll go over them and see how you did. Okay, let's take a look at problem number 1. We know that we just multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 4 is 20. It's a proper fraction, so we don't have to change it, but it's not in its lowest name because we can divide both of these by 2. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 20 10 times. So 3/10 is now in its lowest name, and that is our answer. And by the way, when you're multiplying fractions, the problem could be 2/5 times 3/4, or it could be 3/4 times 2/5. The answer I get will be exactly the same. I'd get 6/20, and then if I reduced it, it would be 3/10. So the way that it's written, which fraction comes first, is not necessarily important here. But let's take a look at our second problem. We know we just multiply and multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 7 is 42. That is a proper fraction, and it is in its lowest name, so that's the answer. That's basically it. It's very, very simple multiplying fractions like that. Well, let's take a look at another few problems that are a little different than this. All right, now here we have the fraction 1/3 times a whole number, the whole number 5. Well, a skill that we know is that a whole number is equal to the whole number over 1. It's the same exact thing. 5 is equal to 5 over 1 because 1 is divided into 5 times. So when you are working in multiplying fractions, and if you have a fraction and a whole number, you just put the whole number over 1 like that. Now you have 2 fractions, and you just multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 1 is 3. Now I have an improper fraction as an answer, so that needs to be changed to a mixed number. And we know how to do that. 3 goes into 5 one time, and 2 are left over, so it's 1 2/3. Let's put up another one. Let's have 6 times 1/2. Well, we have a whole number and a fraction. We just put the whole number, we make it a fraction. It's still the number 6, except we just put it over 1, and then we just multiply and multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I have an improper fraction, and I need to change it, so I divide. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and nothing is left over, so the answer is 3. Okay, I'm going to put a couple of problems up for you, let you work them, and then we'll look at them. Okay, here are 2 problems. 7 times 1/3 and 3/4 times 5. Pardon me. Put the DVD on pause and in your notebook work those problems. Then turn the DVD back on and we'll go through them and we'll see how you did. Okay, problem number 1. The first one, we put the number 7 and make a fraction out of it, 7 over 1, which is equal to the number 7, and then we just multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 3 is 3. So we get 7/3, but that's an improper fraction, and so we have to change it. We divide 3 into 7. We'll go 2 times, and I have 1 left over. So 2 1/3 is our answer. Let's go to the next one. 3/4 times 5. Well, we just put 5 over 1 and we multiply. 3 times 5, 15. 4 times 1, is 4. We have an improper fraction. So we have 15/4, which is an improper fraction. 4 goes into 15 3 times, because that would be 12. And we have 13, 14, 15, we have 3 left over. So 3 3/4. So the skill set here is quite easy. If you're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, you just put the whole number over the number 1, and then you just multiply as you normally would with fractions. Excellent.